Hi everyone, we are the group 4 and in this video we are going to tackle or discuss about the safety practices on board where accidents are common and how to avoid them. So our topic would be the section 7.4, which is vessel in port or health and safety personnel on board. So without further ado, let's get started.
Usually, you should not have to inspect cargo or take samples on a vessel. But if you do, always make sure that the master, crew, and any other operatives in the vicinity know what you intend to do. This guidance is intended to provide only an overview of the safety hazard that you may encounter when working on ships and other vessels. 1. You should be aware of this hazard and avoid dangerous situation. 2. You should not enter any area of a vessel that is not open to the general public without specific permission and, if necessary, supervision. 3. If a recognized danger or hazard is unavoidable, you should not proceed without adequate training, guidance, and where necessary, the appropriate permission from the master or owner of the vessel. You should always refer to your national legislation and guidance. So risk assessment and safety working practice, you should be available for staff working on ships or vessels.
1.1 Suitable safety equipment. Safety equipment must be available and should be worn. These may include high visibility clothing, life jackets or dry suits, gloves, overalls, non-slip and anti-static footwear, usually with toe protection, safety helmets, intrinsically safe IS torch or working light, equipment that is safe to use in flammable atmosphere. And if you have to enter a confined spaces, additional specialist equipment will be needed, including personal alert safety system alarm. It contains motion sensors and indicates when a person is unconscious. Second is multi-gas alarm personal monitor, detects noxious gases, intrinsically safe IS radio communications line, confined space rescue equipment, compressed air breathing apparatus, safety harness and a lifeline and location line, manual and automatic resuscitation system or MARS. Health checks, training, and regular refresher training are required before using compressed air breathing apparatus.
And now I will continue the discussion. The number 2. Access to vessels. This section contains guidance on how to board vessels safely. This legislation requires the master of a vessel to provide safe means of getting up and off the ship for anyone with legitimate business on board. This includes customs office or officers carrying out their duties. Access to vessels will normally be provided by the accommodation ladder or gangway, which must be safely secured. Where the gangway crosses water, safety nets should also be in place. You must never attempt to board a vessel until you are sure it is safe to do so. Ladders or gangway are often slippery or iced up. Non-slippery or non-slip safety footwear will reduce the risk of an accident, but you should still take care, particularly if it is dark. In addition to the guidance below, you should also read the section on the working at heights.
I will continue reporting about boarding from quay. When you're boarding a vessel from the quay side, you should use a accommodation ladder or gangway provided before using them. Check that the gangway or ladders properly rigged and secure. It is deployed at a safe angle and extend 1 meter above where are going. The safety nets are in place if you are crossing over water. If you are boarding a roll-off ferry, you should do so via gangway, unless the vehicle ramps are the only means of access. Where the ship deck are below the level, the quay access equipment should be provided on the vessel. Do not try to jump on board. You might slip or fall. Remember that is a tidal location. The vessel might rise or fall between your arrival and departure, so the access may have changed, be steeper or not each properly. If you doubt, ask the master or the deck officer. Responsibility to make it secure. 2.2 Boarding from the other vessel or boarding one vessel from another can be particularly hazardous. Try to avoid it if at all possible. Never attempt this if a vessel is moving where is necessary. It's normally the responsibility of the ship line outboard. Features from the dockside to provide safe access to the other vessel. The only exception is where the outboard vessel has a much lower freeboard. The deck is much lower, so access would involve climbing, in which case the vessel with the higher freeboard is responsibility for giving you safe access. This usually involves using rope, ladder, and it's the only time you should use them for gaining access. Don't try to climb a rope ladder unless you have been shown how to do. Safety. Remember, you must always wear a life jacket when boarding one vessel from other, and take extreme care, particularly in poor weather.
Then 2.3 Using ladders, which instruct to not use a portable ladder to gain access to a vessel. However, if you are in need to use one for another reason, must be of good construction, well maintained, and of adequate strength. Ladder marked for domestic use must not be used. Also, take the following safety precautions. 1. Secure the ladder at the both ends to prevent slipping. 2. Make sure it extends at least 1 meter above the place you are trying to get to, and keep both hands free while climbing. 3. Attach tools to a tool belt and store other equipment in a bag carried over your shoulder. And 4. Always face the ladder when climbing or descending. And lastly, 5. Take extra care of your wearing safety clothing such as a life jacket or hard hat in case they catch on the rungs. 2.4 Personal carriers. Personal carriers are occasionally used by staff who board mobile offshore drilling units. These are one of the more hazardous means of access and must be used only by people who have been specially trained. The oil industry can help with training any official staff who are likely to use personal carriers. Any operation involving of use personal carriers must be planned and closely supervised. If you are to board of mobile offshore drilling unit by this method, you should 1. Understand how to transfer is to take place and satisfied it is safe. 2. Wear a life jacket and any other safety clothing you or your manager consider necessary. And 3. Make sure that the standby vessel or rescue boat are in attendance. And number 4, obey all instruction given to you by the personnel supervising that transfer. And 5, This type of boarding must not take place in poor, stormy weather.
So in continuation, number 3, which is the working on board, several hazards are common to all areas of vessels. Insects are very resilient and can be found almost anywhere. There are also rats that have been found in holds and soiled items that can be dropped by people in all areas and should not be touched without gloves. We also have ship's equipment, so never attempt to examine any equipment on board until you have consulted a responsible officer. An unskilled interference with safety equipment, navigational apparatus, or electrical systems can affect the seaworthiness of the vessel and jeopardizing the safety of passengers and crew. You would be committing a criminal offense. And we should also remember that when we're referring to our national legislation and guidance when working in this dangerous environment, we have to avoid working alone. But if you have to, then maintain a good communication with someone responsible for checking on your safety and always notify when someone else has your intentions and location before you start. And we should also decipher to check the radio before leaving the office. And also, the guidance contained in this section is intended to serve as a general reminder of the risks that are sometimes encountered during the examination and sampling procedure and of the safety equipment that we need to use as a precautions that we should take. And we must refer to the legislation and the guidance of our national administration for more information. So those are the things that we need to have in safety practices on board, and we do hope that you have learned and enlightened from this video. Thank you for watching.